So in today's video, we are going to start working on the burst that comes out of our crate once we've destroyed it, when we have attacked it using our player's sword. And then, yeah, well, that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we do that, we need to fix something that we did in the previous episode. It's not an error, but later on in the game, as we start to allow attacking other objects and enemies, you'll see that it will become a problem. So let's jump into it quick, and let me show you what I'm talking about. So in the previous episode, where was it? In our, when we set it up so that when we attack a crate, it goes and destroys it depending on the strength of the crate. So when we go and instantiate a crate into a scene, you can see that in our start method here, we pick a random number between 0 and 4. Let's just increase that to about 5, just so that we can get more of a variety. So it picks a random integer between 0 and 5, and then let's get rid of that because we don't want the strength to be 2. Then once it's got that strength, it then goes and assigns that to the strength of, obviously, I don't know what I'm saying. So once it's got the strength, now we can use that strength to determine how many times we have to hit our crate. So here we have a crate in our scene. Let's just wait for it to compile. So if we click on this crate, we should see we have a strength of 3. So that means we need to hit this crate 3 times. So I've hit it once, now we have a strength of 2, hit it again, we have strength of 1. So when we hit this, it should break, which it does. So now you can see here in our console, we have logged that we have destroyed this crate. So this is where the error comes. So if we go back to our code here, in our player class, because we're attacking the object from the player, you can see that in our attack method here, we've only set it up to deal with crates. So in our attack layers, which I believe is in our player inspector here, on the player, you can see that in our attack layers, we only allow attacking of the enemy as well as anything that we assign the attack layer to. So all of our breakable objects in the scene, in this case, is we only have a crate in the scene. We're going to assign it a layer of attack, but we also have a spider that's in the scene. So let's go to our spider. Now a spider, because it's an enemy, it has a layer of attack. I mean, not a layer, it has a layer of enemy, which allows us to attack it. So I don't know why that destroyed it. We need to check on that. Actually, let's go to your crate. Okay, that's interesting. Let's just check something here quickly. If we have, I'm just going to set our strength to equal to 0. And then I'm just going to comment this code out. And then let's just check to see if our strength, if we assign the strength to the crate to be 0, does that break our box immediately? No, it doesn't. So our crate now has, okay, so it still has a strength of 2. What's happening? Strength of 0. I swear I saved that. Let's try that again. Strength of 2. That's weird. I just want to see, because I think that if we set our strength to equal to 0, the crate automatically destroys itself. So let's give that a test. That should destroy itself. What? Crate.strength. We can't make that private. Okay, so let's go say hide inspector and then make this a public, because we need to access it from the player class. Also, this is not a big of an issue. I don't know why I'm doing this now. I can easily fix this later on, but okay, so we have some sort of error that we are getting here. So we need to go and deal with that. Okay, so let's set our strength to that, and then let's go and uncomment that. And then let's just get rid of this because we don't really need that. And we also want to see the strength in the inspector. Okay, so now let's get back to our enemy. The part that I was talking about is if we go and attack our enemy over here, which is our spider, you can see that we now get this error because the way we programmed it, it is only set up for our crate. It's actually only looking for a game object that has the component of a crate on it. So because we don't have a crate component on our spider, we have this error saying we cannot deduct, or actually it might even just be we can't find the crate component on it. So we need to go and change that. So for now, we're not gonna, this is probably not the best way to do it, but we're just gonna compare what we are what we are colliding with. So if you remember in our scene, if we go to our scene, where's our player? You can see that this circle here, anything that is inside of the circle that is either on the attack layer or the enemies layer, if that is inside that circle and we press the attack button, then it's going to register that, and that's going to be, where is it? We are going to get a objects hit collider 2D array full of those objects. So anything that's in that circle that's on those two layers will register that we've hit them. So because we are only using an enemy and a breakable object, we are going to compare them using a tag. So this is probably not the best way to do it, but because, what am I doing? Because we are only doing these two for now, we're just going to fix this so that we can actually attack our spider. So let's go and do this. First of all, we need to add our tags onto our spider. So our spider has an enemy tag, so that's fine. And our crate needs a crate tag. Yeah, so it's going to have to be a crate tag because we can't use a breakable, we can't use a more generic tag, because if we want it to be something else, for example, then we will have trouble in the future, because only crates will be able to burst out the coins, and if we want to attack something else, we probably want to do something else to it. So for now, let's go and add a crate to our tag list, just so that we can add that onto our crate list, and then let's just apply that to all of them. Not that we have more than one, but now that we know that what we're attacking is going to be a crate, we can go and do whatever we want to the crate, and then whatever we want to do to the enemy, we'll do that in another statement. So first of all, we need to compare the tags. So let's go to our, our global class here, and we've got an enemy tag, we've got a player tag. So now let's create a crate tag. And this is just going to be crate. What am I doing? Back to our script. Okay, so in our for each statement here, we need to go and say var tag is going to be equal to hit.getComponent.tag. Sorry, not hit.getComponent, hit.game object. So we need to get the tag off of the game object, and then we can go and compare them. So here we can go and say if the tag, what are we going to say? No, let's say, yeah, what was I going to say? If the, yeah, if the, I think it's if the tag is equal to, or let's say tag dot, how did I do it? I did this like 10 minutes ago. I can't remember how I did it. If it's going to have to be if the, what's it called? Why can't I remember how I did this? This is so simple, but yeah, I can't remember it. If the, this is embarrassing. I've gone blank. If the, let's say tag is equal to global dot crate tag, then we want to go and do whatever this is. Okay, so that's fine. Now, if we want to do the same thing and say if the tag is equal to the global dot enemy tag, then we want to go and let's just say print tag for now, and then it should tell us that we are attacking an enemy. So let's go test it out and see if we can now only do certain things to certain objects. So now that we attack our crate, we should still be able to break it. Yeah, that's fine. But now when we go and attack our spider, we should not get any error messages. So you can see now we don't get any error messages, and we also get a message saying enemy, because it is now registering which tag we are using and comparing that to the global.enemy tag. And if they're equal to the one that's on the actual object that it's colliding with, if they're equal, then obviously it's going to execute the code that's in that if statement. So that's good. Now let's go and test out, or let's go try and create a burst of coins. So let's just see, crate, we don't need to override. Okay, so that's fine. So let's go to the scene. Now here in our crate, we need to create a particle effect. So effects, particle system. So this is going to be our coin burst. Now I haven't done this in a long time, so I don't really know if this is going to work. We probably won't be able to finish it in this episode. So it's not going to be looping because it's only going to be once. So let's go and say play. And we want it to, let's see, emissions. We want it to be like a burst. So let's see, we want the duration to probably be like 1 second. So let's say that's a bit too long. Let's go and say 0.2 seconds maybe. That's fine. Start delay, start lifetime, start speed, let's say about 10. Start size, start rotation, flip rotation, start color. Let's see, emissions. Let's change it so that we can actually see. Actually, this is not going to work though, because I'll tell you why this is not going to work, because unless there is a way to do this. So the way I was thinking is we were going to have to create some kind of particle system that makes it look like some coins, when the crate has been broken, are just going to suddenly just like shoot out of the crate. But because those coins, that if we were to do it this way, those coins won't be able to be collectible, I don't think. So that's not going to work. So we might have to do this in the code somehow. So let's go and get rid of this, and let's figure this out. So let's see, where is our crate? Where is our crate class? So here, when we go and set animator.set trigger to break, and then we go and say is broken is equal to true. Here we need to go and create a function that's going to be called create coin burst. And I'm doing this in the wrong place, so let's get rid of that, and then that should be fine. Now let's go and create this function here, and this is going to be called a private void create coin burst. Okay, so in here, this is where we are going to, technically we're going to have to instantiate a bunch of coins really quickly, and then kind of give them a force in the upwards direction, or in probably like in a 180-degree direction. So anywhere from the bottom of the left all the way to the top of the bottom of the right, anywhere. It's kind of like a half circle force. So anything going outwards from the middle in all directions, only above the ground. I mean, technically it can go below the ground, but then we don't want it to, it's going to have to collide with the ground, I guess. Okay, so let's try and figure this out. Also, I've never done this before, so I don't actually know what I'm doing. So let's test out. Let's go and say we're going to make this a random. So let's go and say coin we're going to need another minimum and maximum value. But let's call this one private int coin burst minimum, and that's going to be equal to, we want it to be a minimum of, let's say about 3, just because we want something to collect. And the max is going to be, that's not max. Max is going to be, let's say about 8. Now I'm just going to copy this because I don't want to retype it. So this is going to be var coins. Nope. Let's try that again. Var coins is going to be equal to coin burst minimum, and the max is going to be coin burst max. Okay, so now that we've got that, we can go and say for int I is equal to 0, where I is less than coins, and I plus plus, then we can go and say instantiate. Actually, so here we're going to need a reference to a coin prefabs. Do we have a coin prefab? Let's see, prefabs, here's our folder. Okay, so we do have a coin prefab. Now, this might, actually we can do this. So let's go and create that quick. Let's go and say serialize field. This is going to be private. Actually, we don't need private. Let's go and say, let's get rid of that because we don't really need that. What is it going to be? It's going to be a game object. Game object coin prefab like that. And then here we can instantiate our coin prefab. And that should be it. So let's test that. And by doing that, we do have a coin count on our screen, don't we? Let's see. Okay, let's test this out. So our coins, we have 1 coin. So let's go and break our box. So okay, so we haven't dragged that in. So let's go to our crate, and actually let's do this on our crate prefab. So let's drag our coin prefab into there. So that should be fine. Now we should be able to break that crate and then see a bunch of coins being destroyed, or not being destroyed, but crate destroyed. Now where's our coins? Oh, okay, so they're being instantiated, but they are not being instantiated in the correct place. Okay, so let's go and change that. So let's go and say, where do we want it? We want to instantiate at a position. So what's next? Transform.parent. Let's go and say transform.position dot normalize. No, what am I saying? Transform.position. We are going to probably have to say, let's do this. Instantiate at the var position is going to be equal to transform.position. This is going to be a new, I think it needs to be a vector2, transform.position.x, and then transform.position.y. We only need that, so that should be fine. And then we can go and say, hopefully go and say position. So let's see, cannot convert vector2, try transform. Okay, so that's not going to work. Let's see, transform. Let's try that and see. Otherwise, I'm just going to look it up. How do we get to instantiate an object at a specific location? It must be that one. So let's go. Okay, so clearly that didn't work. We need to go and actually it might have worked. Let's go test it out. Crate destroyed, but our coins are not being instantiated. Okay, I'm just going to look this up quickly. Let's go and say Unity instantiate at position. Let's see, object. Okay, let's do that. So this is going to be coin prefab, and it's pretty much the same. This is exactly what I did, I'm pretty sure. This is, that's why vector3. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back until we have what we had. And then we can just go and say vector3. And then this is just going to be transform dot position dot z, because obviously it's going to be the same. Actually, we don't actually need that. Let's go. Actually, I'm just writing stuff here that we don't really need. We can just go transform dot position. That's not going to work either. Nope, that's not going to work because I'm pretty sure that's what we just had. Okay, bear with me. Let's see. Instantiate a rigid body, then set the velocity. Nope. Instantiate 10 copies of prefab, each 2 units apart from each other. That's not what we want. Let's just try this. Let's go and say new. This is what they've got. This is what I'm looking at on the Unity documentation. So let's go and say new vector 3, and then we can go and say transform dot position dot x, transform dot position dot y, and then transform dot position dot z, which I believe is not really going to make much of a difference. So yeah, that doesn't make a difference because cannot convert Unity vector 3 to Unity dot transform. I have done this before, but I don't feel like going into my old games to try and figure out where it is. Let's try this. Let's go and say, what was I going to say? Transform dot position. Actually, let's just say transform, and then here we can go and say quaternion dot identity. That should be fine. Nope. Unity engine dot transform to Unity engine dot vector 3. What? Maybe this time it's transform dot position. There we go. Let's try that. So now that should instantiate the what's it called, the coins at the location of the crate whenever we destroy it. Hopefully that's the idea. Let's test it out. So let's go and break down the box. Okay, so there we have it. We have a bunch of coins, but the problem is they are all at the exact same place because they're not ran. Okay, that one we just collected, and then should be the other one. Okay, so that's fine. So that's doing what we want. Now the only thing that's left that we need to do is to enable gravity onto them. So let's see, do we have layer overrides? So they don't have a rigid body on them. Okay, so let's do this. Can we, I'm just testing things here. I didn't actually plan this episode, so this is just winging it. Let's go and say coin. How are we going to do this? We need to add gravity. So we're going to have to add a rigid body onto each of them, as well as enable the gravity on them so that they fall onto the ground. Because if they don't, then they're just going to be floating. I mean, we could just leave it like that because it's not that big of an issue, because our other coins are currently just floating there. But I do want it to have some kind of burst out of the crate so that they don't just appear. So let's go and add some force into them after instantiated. So let's go and see Unity, add small to instantiated object. That's what I want. Add force to instantiated object. Okay, let's see. What do we want to do? So we're going to have to add a rigid body onto them. So I guess we're going to have to say, let's go and say, what are we going to say? We're going to say this is going to be a var coin is going to be equal to, that's not how you spell coin. Coin is going to be equal to coin prefab, like that, and then this will just be coin instead of coin prefab, and then we can go and use that coin. So here we can go and say coin dot add component, and this is going to be a rigid body 2D, like that. So let's go test that out. Let's just make sure that works. If we go step by step, we can see where we are going wrong if things don't work. So when we go and break the crate, if we do get coins into the scene, and okay, so you can see that coin add component rigid body to coin, let's see, what does it say? Cannot add component rigid body 2D to coin 1 because such a component is already added to the game object. No, it's not. Let's see, coin 2, does it have a rigid body? It does have a rigid body. So why? Oh, okay, never mind. So we clearly don't need to do that. Let's go and see. Maybe it was just tucked down below. So if it already has a rigid body on it, then we can go and enable the gravity onto the coin. So let's go and test that out. Okay, so we don't want to collect them. So let's see. Clearly that didn't work. So let's test that again. So all of our coins have disappeared. So let's see. Coin simulated. Mass of 1, gravity scale is going to be equal to 0. I'll save that. Actually, let's do this on our coin prefab. So mass is 1, gravity scale is going to be 0. So let's test that out again and see what's happening. Okay, so our coins are still there. If we go back to, actually we can't because we have to delete that first. Okay, so let's break our crate. Now where are our coins? They were there. What did we do? Instantiate coin. So here we're going to have to go and say coin is going to be equal to instantiate this needs to be a, here we go, let's go and say game object. This needs to be a capital G. So we're going to instantiate a game object which is going to be of type coin. Let's go and say game object coin is go, and then we go and say coin dot instantiate, or coin is equal to instantiate coin prefab at this position. And then what we want to do later on, we can go and say coin dot whatever dot rigid body, hopefully set the gravity back to 1. So let's go and see if that works. So let's test this out again. So if we break our crate, we've broken it, but we've collected the coins already. So it's clearly got something to do with the way we are instantiating them. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do this. Game object coin. Let's try this. I'm just going to print what's it going to be? It's going to be coins, because that's the amount of coins that we are instantiating, just because I want to see if we are actually collecting them. Because you can see that our coin count here is increasing when we break the box, but the coins are not actually appearing on the screen. So that's not correct. So we got a coin count of 0. If we collect this one, it's 1. And now if we break this, we get 5 coins. That's not right. So I saw them for a second, but then they disappeared, because obviously we must have pick them up. Interesting. Okay. So let's see. Let's go and put this back to how it was. So let's get rid of this. We'll figure out a different way to do that. And then we can get rid of this because now we won't need that. So if we go and press play now, we should be able to see our coins being instantiated at the point of, well, technically, I think it's the center of the crate, really. So let's break this. Nope, that's not working. That's a problem. Okay, we need to try and figure that out because now that it's back to how it was, that shouldn't be happening. Also, that's broken already. So that's broken, and we've already got an increase in our coin count. So I'm just going to play this on here and see in our scene view. Let's go collect our coin. So if we break that, okay, that's not working. Okay, so clearly that's not working. So we'll end this video here and I'll go figure out why that's not working because something's happening there that I don't understand. So I'll go figure that out. But that's going to be it for today's video. So thanks for watching and I'll see you in tomorrow's one. Goodbye.